So remember whenever I said this wasn't going to be a big deal? Well, it's a big deal. If you don't know, Genshin Impact has been in a lot of hot water recently, ever since their release of Natlan. Now, Natlan is their new area coming to Genshin Impact. It'll be version 5.0. And honestly, a lot of people were extremely excited for it, as it's going to be a kind of like dry, deserted place, taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of dry and hot places, you know, Mexico, some African countries. I mean, there was a ton of inspiration from a lot of different cultures. And we had our first look at some of the characters here. Now, these are some more recent posts that they released. We've got Kachina here. We've got Kinich here. We've got so many more characters. And the thing that people weren't happy about was their skin color. As you can see here, Mualani, one of the new characters, I think she's going to be the first character of version 5.0. She does look pretty pale here. Now, as you can see, she is kind of tanned. She has some kind of tan lines, but again, it's nothing like super extraordinary. And after tying it in with a lot of the cultures, it really seems wrong to do this. We can see here that a lot of the other like announcements, such as Auron, who was supposed to be based off of like some mythology thing, who by the way was depicted as a black man, was made white. And you know, the character design isn't even that good anyways. And the same goes for all of these other characters. I mean, Murata looks pretty white there. Chaska looks pretty white there. Iansun is probably one of the only characters here that actually looks acceptable and fits in pretty well with the cultural themes that they're trying to bring across. We got Zenless, Sitlily, Ajor, Kinich, Kachina, and Mualani. Now, all of these characters are a little bit pale. Obviously, Ajor isn't because there's some random pixelated thing, but like characters like Kinich here, he looks very, very pale, and a lot of people are concerned. And we're going to be going through that throughout this entire video. So before I keep going, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy it, and also go over to Gamer Subs and use my code Kazo where you can get yourself a ton of cups, tubs, and even more. They have a ton of really cool designs, so I definitely recommend you guys go check it out. And yeah, you can get yourself 10% off with my link below. But let's get back into it. Now, this was a post brought up by Timely Harmony. I think by judging by their profile picture, they are one of those kind of Honkai style fans. But that doesn't take away from the fact that they've actually got a very, very useful Twitter post here, which got 1.2 million views, which is insane. It lists all of the voice actors and content creators, pretty much calling out Hoyoverse for, you know, not including characters of color in their game. And with the first one being Amber May, who's a massive voice actor for Honkai Star, being Yang Qing, and also Dea. As you can see here, they've actually like spoken out against it. I mean, I'm not going to go through every single post here. You see Danny Chambers, who's the voice of Arlen and Nilu, and they pretty much replied to this post of a darker version of Zenless, and they put, "We was robbed. Look how beautiful this looks. I really hope they hear everyone and what's being said." Now, this is an actual voice actor for Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. As I said in my last video that covered this, it was really like out of the blue to see a lot of these voice actors actually speaking out against Hoyoverse, because that doesn't happen much. They tend to keep their staff and voice actors pretty silent on a lot of the issues, but it seems like they are actually calling them out here, and it's really great to see. We got the voice actor of Acheron and Beidou. We got the voice actor of Topaz and Ambi from Zenless Zero. We got the English voice actor of Albedo. We got Ann Yakko, the voice actor of Raiden Shogun. And then we got a new voice here of the English voice of Suglit from Honkai Star Rail. Junyun, who is the English VA of Yip Tak from Genshin. Again, I can't remember who this guy was, but you know, let me know down in the comments if you know who he is. We got the voice of Sucrose, the voice of Sino, Jing Yuan, and Seth Lau in Zenless Zero, who is Alejandro Saab, who I talked about in the last video, who talked about this. And yeah, there's a whole video on that if you guys want to go watch that. But yeah, it's kind of surprising because he is one of their biggest voice actors, as he helps out a ton with a lot of their games. We've got more characters from Genshin Impact. We've got the voice actor of Belle from Zenless Zero, right? These are some massive characters. Like, they aren't just some side characters. We've got the main characters. We've got Bill Butts, the English voice actor of Albert from Honkai Star Rail. He's saying, "Dark skin is beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise." These are absolutely massive voice actors. And then we go into the content creators. Zyok. Again, Zyok saying that he doesn't like this either. And, you know, he is very, very positive about Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse. But it is super surprising to see them here calling out, and it's honestly great to see. We got more content creators saying they're going to stop playing the game or stop spending money on the game. We got the voice actor of Robin. We got Doro, the voice of Yao Yao and Jane Doe. We got one of the main voices of Natlan, Mavawika, actually like reposting a lot of these posts saying that, you know, there's a big issue of representation in Genshin Impact. Like, this is the main character of the area. It's obvious that they agree with a lot of what the, you know, fan base are saying. Now, obviously, they actually haven't posted anything, but reposts really do matter, and that's the same for a lot of these other posts. Some of them aren't necessarily them making a post or like replying to something. Some of them, they're just reposting what other people have said, which again speaks volumes about, you know, what they think about this situation. We've got Toronto here. We've got the voice of Firefly. We've got the voice of Skirk and Misha and Pearl. I mean, you know, there's so many different characters. We've got the voice of Kinich, another character literally part of Natlan. We've even got the voice of Paimon saying, "Keep speaking up, keep talking about it. Eventually someone will listen." Like, this is insane. Like, that is the main character. Like, other than like Aether or Lamine, Paimon is one of the main characters that show up and probably has the most talking time, seeing as how much she yaps in the game saying this. And you know, it's definitely a problem when all of these voice actors are saying negative things about Hoyoverse, or even reposting stuff about the game. So again, there is so many people. I can keep going with 7 players, and there the thread ends. I mean, there's probably even more out there, especially with content creators, as there's so many of them. But that is so many people speaking up against this, and even companies like IGN have even made like massive articles talking about this whole situation. Genshin Impact voice actors join in criticism of upcoming Natlan region's character design. So again, this is blown up into a massive issue, but how is this going to end? Well, a lot of people have been saying that they're going to be boycotting Genshin, which we heard in the past. Obviously, the homie B-Mail talked about it quite a bit, which obviously, you know, he might not be around for this one, but this is a new kind of boycott that people are starting up, saying they're not going to be playing Genshin, or at the very least, they're not going to be spending money on Genshin until this issue is fixed, because we still got a ton of time until Natlan comes out. Because Hoyoverse could easily change a lot of the character designs and change the skin color of a lot of the characters to fix this issue, especially with all of these people talking about it. Now, will a boycott actually work? Probably not. And will any of this negative feedback actually affect them at all? And the answer is no. You know, this isn't going to affect them at all. I really don't think it will, unless something happens in China. But because China seem pretty happy with Natlan at the moment. As you know, China aren't very used to a lot of darker skinned characters, and they don't really know much about the culture. And there has also been some comments of them just being outright racist, saying that they don't owe anything to black people and that it's an Asian game, which is just super weird. But unless China actually say something, Hoyoverse do not care. They do not care whether you scream or shout or whatever. They aren't going to change their game, and this has been the case for the past like 4 or 5 versions. It has been going on forever and ever, and this has been a big issue of Genshin Impact that a lot of people just don't get. Genshin Impact will not change. Hoyoverse will not change just because you start crying about it. Now, obviously, this is a terrible thing. I know I'm saying like, oh, you're crying about it, but this is obviously a terrible thing. I really do wish that they do make some changes and add some darker characters into the game, but it's just not going to happen, and it doesn't matter how much you shout about it. Obviously, you know, it's great that people are like speaking up about it, and maybe we'll see some kind of change, but again, that is the very smallest chance that it will happen, and the only way that this will really happen is if China do actually say anything, because if China are happy, Hoyoverse are happy, and they're making their money. I mean, people are still going to put on these characters regardless, and as we saw with the last boycott, and what happened with all of the other stuff with the boycott, people just forgot about it. People just forgot in like 2-3 weeks about the boycott that happened, about the kind of, you know, problems that Genshin Impact had, and people have just been ignoring the issues in Genshin Impact since the start, you know? People have been ignoring it forever, even if they are some of the smallest issues to the biggest issues like this. People are just ignoring it. And that will just continue to happen. There are so many just brain dead people who will just keep playing the game. They don't care if a character's too white, or if a character doesn't look right, or if, you know, Hoyoverse messed up. They don't care. They'll keep playing the game. They'll keep spending money on the characters. And although we do have a lot of these voice actors and content creators speaking up about this, which again is super great, it doesn't reflect a lot of the community. There are so many people that play Genshin Impact, and so many people that spend money on Genshin Impact that don't care about this, you know? They will continue to play the game, and that's especially for the Chinese community. Now, you know, a lot of these people as well that are saying that they're going to be boycotting the game, more so the players, not so the content creators, haven't spent a single penny on the game, you know? Some of these people are free to play and going, yeah, so I'm boycotting the game. You know, they did some bad things, so hopefully, you know, Hoyoverse will actually feel that. It's like, bro, you spent no money. They do not care. They do not care if you are free to play and you're boycotting the game. It just takes up less server space, costs them less money. But obviously, if there is a massive whale or spends quite a bit on the game, then that is a huge loss for Hoyoverse. And maybe it will hit them quite hard if it does happen. But the thing is, I don't see this boycott going on for longer than like 2 weeks. Like, seriously. It's seriously not going to last that long. Especially seeing as the last ones we've had and how long they lasted. I mean, it just kind of burnt out after a while because Hoyoverse just kept bringing out new promotions and stuff for the game until people were just like, oh yeah, actually the update's really good. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you know, Hoyoverse, we forgive you. I'll keep playing your game. I'll keep spending money on the game. I'm sorry. You bought out a new skin for Karara, so, you know, everything's resolved. Everything's resolved. I'm sorry we ever doubted you. And yeah, they'll just go back to playing the game. So, again, this is never going to change. And if you're one of the people that think this is going to change, please get it in your head that Hoyoverse do not care. They do not care at all. I've played this game for years. I've played Genshin Impact since like it almost came out. I'm pretty sure it was like a couple weeks after it came out. And I've played all of the other games, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero. I'm pretty high leveled in Honkai Star Rail. I'm getting there in Zenless Zone Zero, although Zenless Zone Zero has been a little bit slow for me. But again, I know how this company works, and a lot of these other content creators that voice the same opinions as me know how this game works too. So listen to them and understand that this isn't the be-all and end-all of Genshin Impact. It's not going to be the end of the world if you boycott it, if you stop spending or whatever. It's going to be another thing. Now, obviously, yes, I applaud you for trying, and I applaud you for trying to make a change. And obviously, keep speaking up about it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. I think you should keep, speaking up about the problems that are going on in Genshin Impact. But please do not expect it to change. Please do not expect Hoyoverse to listen to you as soon as you kick off and scream. Because again, there's a very, very high chance that they won't listen, and you're just going to be disappointed. And that's why I definitely recommend playing another game. We got Wuthering Waves out at the moment. I'm not saying that Wuthering Waves is, the definite game that you should be playing. There are so many other gacha games out there made by companies that aren't Hoyoverse that I definitely recommend you go try out, because they are companies that actually listen and, make some changes that you might want to see. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. I just wanted to quickly talk about this. This has been blown out of proportion massively. I mean, this is going to die down in a couple of weeks. Genshin Impact aren't going to listen. But it is really great to see that there are a lot of people, speaking up about this issue, as it is a really, really big issue in Genshin Impact. But again, I doubt it's going to change, but we will have to wait and see in the future. But if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And also go over to GamerSubs. As I said, use my code KAZO where you can get yourself 10% off. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.